Hello everyone, welcome to this video. This is the part 2 of this lab. We decided to break this lab into 2 parts, or 3 parts actually. In the first part, we started the deployment of the base infrastructure and we worked on the Key Vault resources, and we have really done 3 different things. We created and configured a Key Vault, we added a key to the Key Vault, and we also added a secret to the Key Vault. And in this lab, we're gonna start working on exercise 3, which is configure SQL database and data-driven application. So here there are multiple different steps, and you have to pay a lot of good attention to this one, because you may run into many different type of problems if you don't pay very close attention. So we're gonna start with the enable client application to access the Azure SQL database service. So this one, you have to register an application or an app to be able to access the Azure SQL database service. So what we'll do first, we'll go to the app registration in our Azure. So for here, by the way, the deployment that for the resources are now done. So we can go and search for app registration, and then we're gonna register one app, and we're gonna call it a SQL app, right? Copy SQL. I don't need this anymore. So SQL app, and accounts in this organization directory only. So this is the default option. We're gonna go with a single tenant organization and click on register. So that one should. Okay, we missed one thing. The URI we didn't do, so let's just delete this one real quick and let's just refresh, not from here, refresh from here. I want to delete this one, delete. Okay, now it's gone. We're gonna just recreate this one, since we didn't provide the redirect URI. It's optional, but since we're following the lab, we're just gonna put it on here. So come back over here and just put this, okay, and then hit register, and the web is already selected. So that's it. Once we have that, what we want to do, we want to get the application or client ID. We're going to need this later. So your client ID is right there. I'm going to copy this one, go back and call client ID and put it in here. So the next thing that we want to do on the SQL app, we're gonna go to certificates and secrets, and we're gonna create a new client secret. So over here, certificate and secret, and we are going to create a new client secret and add a client secret description and expire. So let's see what name we want to provide. We're going to call it key 1. I want to expire in 12 months. So say key 1 and 12 months, hit add, and that should add the key to this particular application. Okay, so that's about it. So the next thing that you need in here, identify the value of key, record its value. So come back over here, identify the value of key 1 and record its value. So again, we're gonna go back here. So that is the value, and this is for key 1. I'm gonna put it over here, and this is the secret ID. I don't know if I need it. Probably I don't. So just not in the direction, so I'm not gonna worry about it. So it says make sure you copy the value before you navigate away from the blade. Once you do, it is no longer possible to retrieve in its clear text value, so you have to regenerate the key again. So we have already done that. So the next thing that we want to do, we gotta create a policy that would allow the application to access the key vault. So in this one, we are going to use PowerShell command again. So we're gonna do something like this. So over here is the application ID, So we're gonna copy this one and paste this, and then we're gonna run this. So again, the application ID, if I go back over here, the application or client ID starts with D, ends with 3, starts with D and ends with 3. So I'm gonna copy this one, come back over. Do I have a parcel window open? This one is definitely not working. What about this one? This one, yeah, this one may be still working. Yeah. So over here I'm gonna paste, so that is gonna be my application ID. So here what I need to probably put it under quote, so let's just do that, and now hit enter. So that worked. So over here, and then we're gonna do this key vault name, so it will go down to the key vault, figure out the key vault name and print it for us. So if I paste this command, look at that, that is the name of the key vault, 27430, and just to make sure 27430 is ending, so that is the right key vault. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna run this particular command to grant permission. So copy, come back over here and paste. So this is really creating Azure Key Vault policy, and it's doing get, wrap, unwrap, sign, verify and list. So let's just go back to the Key Vault, and it did access policy. So if we go back to the Key Vault, click on the access policy and then refresh, here's the SQL app. Now you have key permission, and interestingly it does not have any encrypt or decrypt permission just yet. So that would be interesting to see what happens later. Alright, so come back over here and we can close the shell. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, retrieve the SQL Azure Database ADO.NET connection string. So the connection string, the way you do, we are gonna go to the list of SQL databases. So we're gonna go copy, come back over here, SQL databases, and hit this, and that will bring up the medical SQL database that we have deployed. So you're gonna click on this one, and from here, you under the setting, you need to click on the connection string, and you're gonna copy this one, and we need this connection string later, so you're gonna put it. But if you see there's a field blank for a placeholder for your password, we gotta provide the right password right there, and we gotta provide the right password there. Come on. So there we go. So now we have it, connection string properly. I need to save it properly, saved in my file. So next thing that we're gonna do, since we have our everything ready, and another thing, just make sure that you are on the ADO.NET. You're not copying the JDBC, ODBC, PHP, Go, any of that. Just stick to the ADO.NET. Okay, that's the string that we wanted. Alright, so now we need to go to the virtual machine running Visual Studio 2019 and SQL Management Studio 2018. So as part of the ARM template deployment that we did in the first part of the video, we have a virtual machine running where I have those tools installed. So let's just go back over here, find that machine, hit enter, and get the public IP address of the machine, and let's use our favorite client, Remina REMI. So that is the client that I use in Ubuntu. It's my favorite RDP client to connect to Windows. I think we have a student. Okay, so it's just saying just take a note of the public IP address. It's not saying that you have to connect it right now. So but we can connect it, so let's just keep connected. So since we're already there, I'm gonna provide student and pretty much everywhere we are using this most secure password. So go over here, provide this, hit OK, and that should connect. Okay, it's now connected. So let it stay connected while we go back and do this portion of the lab. So here, create a table in the SQL database and select data columns for encryption. So this one we need to first go to the database, and then I gotta set a firewall rule so that when I'm trying to connect from this virtual machine that we just got connected, if we want to connect to the SQL database from inside this machine, I have to allow the flow of traffic. So to do that, we're gonna go back to this particular SQL database. Okay, let's open it up, and you see the set the firewall. You gotta click on that one, and let's see what we have here at the bottom, rule name. So here also we need the IP address of the virtual machine. So here, start IP and the end IP, you gotta provide the IP addresses, and rule name, let's see, allow management VM. So you copy that one and you put it here and hit outside, and that will put that rule in here where you are allowing this management IP VM to connect to your database, and then hit save. So this modifies the server firewall setting, allowing connections to the medical database from the Azure virtual machine's private IP address to your address you deployed in this lab. So what we will do, we will now, it's saying connect to that virtual machine, get in, and once you get in, it's saying, hey, let's just open the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio and connect to the server. So what we are going to do, we are going to go back to the RDP session and click the search over here, type SQL, and that is going to bring up the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. I'm going to click on this, and it's time to make this remini a little bit bigger. I'm going to click on this toggle full screen, but you see is this actual screen still remain pretty small. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to click on that button right there, and that has given me a full screen, which I also don't need most likely. So I'm going to click on there are two different types, view full screen mode on scrolled full screens. I don't know which one to use, but I'm just going to keep using this one for now. So I'm going to use the database engine as the server type, and the server name is something we gotta get. So if you go back to Azure and let's see SQL Server, I'm just gonna again search for SQL servers, and this is the server that I have, and we gotta copy the server name, and that is going to be this. We will come over here, put the server name. We're going to use SQL authentication, and the login name is going to be the student and something else. So just student, copy, and let's get the password and paste it here and connect. Alright, if you see, now I'm connected to this particular database from within my virtual machine, which we are calling the management server. And inside the database, if you go, I have the medical database available to me, and if you go to the tables, there is nothing in there at the moment, I don't think. Or there is some table that is auto-generated, but no table that you would use for your own purpose. So the next job that we have in this lab is to create a table, and to create a table we're just gonna copy this, and it's a create table command. If you're database admin or even have general knowledge about database, so you know that it's going to create a table, and the table name is going to be the patients, and it will have columns. They're identified as patient ID, SSN, first name, last name, middle name, street address, city, zip code, state, and birth date. So notice you're gonna have some very sensitive information stored in the database, and we have to be very careful who is accessing this database and how you are displaying those databases back to the end users. So over here you can click on new query. That should give you a query window, and you're gonna paste this so right there, and you can now hit execute. Now interestingly it says this was denied on master. So what happened, it's now connected to the master, so we gotta go click on the medical and right click on it, and then click the new query. Or you could have done it, it was the master was selected, you could have chosen the medical from here as well. Paste the command again and then hit execute, and this time you see the command is now successful. So if I refresh this, I better see a new table called patients or dbo.patients that should show up under here. So let's just do that and expand and look at that. Just like magic, I have a new patients that is a table. It should be an empty table. So if I go and do show me for 1,000 rows, you see it says there is no data. Okay. So, but what the lab is saying, let's just encrypt, assuming that some of the columns will have sensitive data. We are going to use the encrypted, always encrypted feature. So what we'll do, we'll right click on it and then click on encrypt column, and then it will start the always encrypt wizard. So here if you see, just you can read it. Always encrypted is designed to protect sensitive information such as credit card numbers stored in SQL Server databases. It enables clients to encrypt data inside client applications and never reveal the encrypted keys to SQL Server. So hit next, and column selection, SSN and birthday, those are the two that we're going to encrypt, and we're going to call it deterministic for this and randomized for the birthday. You can also do like show affected columns only. Now it's only showing these two columns where you are going to apply the encryption. Hit next. Now let's go back to lab and make sure that we're doing it right. Over here, deterministic, birthday, SSN, so these are all look good. So here on the master key configuration, it's just saying just sign in but use the Azure Key Vault, and let's just do that then. So we're not going to use Windows Certificate Store. Click on Azure Key Vault, then you may have to sign in again. Let's see if I'm already signed in. I'm not, so I'm going to start with AZ Labs 9000 at that ID and see if it properly identifies the key vault that we created. Let's see. So text, okay, text. Okay, then send code. I have a multi-factor available to me, so I'm using that. If you have multi-factor available to you, you should be using that too. So let's just put the code 8543440. So let's see. I hope I entered it right. So it's like it's got in, but unfortunately I have a trouble here. So I need to fix something before I proceed with the lab. So what is happening here, I'll tell you quickly. You see that here you have an option, select a subscription to use, but I don't have any drop down list just like this. So somehow when I logged in, it went in and it logged me to a subscription that is now disabled, and now I have no good way to change my subscription. So what I'll do, I'll cancel this one and then fix and create a new user with the proper rights, and then we'll come back. Give me 1 second. Alright, I have created another user IT admin and assigned similar access, and this person only has access to one subscription. So I'm going to try to end up using this user to do the rest of the lab. So what we'll do, we'll go back to our Remna. I'm going to disconnect this, or it's already disconnected looks like. So I'm going to connect this using database engine. So this one should still be okay to log in. Let's see, go back over. We're gonna go here. So here, let's just go up just a little bit up high. Let's get this password first. Go back to our RDP session. Okay, so this one we have already done our database work, so that is still valid. Okay, so this is still valid, and we have already got the table, so that work is still valid. Here we try to do encrypt column, and that one is where we were having problems. So again, we're gonna click the SSN and the birth date. We're gonna use deterministic in this one, and for birthday we're gonna use randomized birth date. Hit next, use Azure Key Vault, but this time when it's asking me to sign in, I'm gonna try to sign in as the other user. Let's see, over here this is the user ID that I'm gonna use, and see if that works. There we go, and hit next, and I'm also gonna get the password for that particular user and put it over here. Come on, put it over here, and then sign in and skip for 14 days. So now I should have access to the right key vault, and this is the key vault if you remember. And if you go back over here, you'll see the key vault that I should be accessing is the 27430 ending letters. So if you come back over here, that is 27430. So I know that I'm now connected to the right key vault. So let's hit next, and here where is going to encrypt and decryption, that will be in process. Really, which is really going to do this, there is no data, so it's going to end up creating some key values for us. So now it's going to ask you to relog, and just do that, and now this is going to happen. It's going to generate the new column key CMK auto 1 in Azure Key Vault, generate new column key CEK auto 1, and performing encryption options. So that is going on. It usually takes a couple minutes, or even though you have no data, you will see you will have to wait a couple minutes. What we'll do, we'll just go back to the key vault real quick and see. So CMK auto, that's now available in here, as you see, and I'm expecting there should be another one. Not sure which one they actually store in the key vault. So let's just go back to our. Okay, so this one looks like CMK auto 1 will be in the Azure Key Vault to generate the new column encryption key, so that may not be part of the key vault. And finally what it's doing is trying to do the encryption operations at the moment, and which is in progress. So I'm just going to let it finish, and let's see what else we need to do. It's really not telling us to do anything crazy here, just saying go to the server management studio console Under the medical node, expand the security and always encrypted keys node. And saying a node, the always encrypted keys subnode contains the column master key and the column encryption keys subfolders. So go back. So this is still going on. So just pause for a minute. Once this is done, we'll go and expand some of the folders under the security, and this under security, let's say should still be running over here somewhere here, and under the security, under always encryption keys, these are the keys that we are talking about. They should have been generated, so they're the keys that we have. Okay, so at this time what I'll do, I'll just pause the video. Once this done, you just hit next and you should be ready to go. Let's just go back. Yeah, I think that would be the end of this lab. So in this lab, really what we have done, we have shown you how to connect to a database using connection string, how to allow how to set the firewall rules in a database so you can connect to the database from a management server. That's also a security feature. And then we showed you how to turn on our encryption on a database for particular fields, and then that's about it. Okay, look, everything is now done. So let's come over here. So that is pass. So everything has been passed. So at this time you can just hit close to close this wizard, and you should be done. And this one should also saying those, right? And we have already looked at the column key and master key. So one more time, if you go there, here's the column key, and here's the master key, here's the column encryption key. Both of them are here. So that's about it. So I'm going to end the lab. If you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe, and let's meet in the next lab and finish up the exercise 4, which is going to be the third part of this particular video series. Thank you.